Welcome to the Wildflow podcast with me, Charlotte Puanto, an award-winning menstrual cycle coach and priestess, and the founder of First Moon Circle School. I guide women to honor and embrace their sacred cycles in their life, leadership, and business. Let's say hi to more ease and flow by co-creating with your body, and goodbye to struggle and burnout. This podcast features soul-enriching conversations, inspiring you to love your cycle, lead as a sacred leader, and grow a life and business that serves you by harnessing cyclical life and business practices. Join me and other change makers, thought leaders, and wise women to embrace and embody your wild flow. Hello and welcome to Wild Flow podcast with me, your host, Charlotte Puanto. It is good to be here with you. I am on cycle day 11 myself, and I'm emerging from my slower days in the early time of my spring. So I always find that when my period finishes, I'm still quite slow for a couple of days or so, sometimes even a bit longer. I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, I've got my energy back. Oh yeah, it's time to go. And then it's like, no, that doesn't last for very long. And I get really quite tired again. So it's kind of short-lived. Today I'm feeling a sense of energy that is perhaps more sustainable and going to stick around a little bit. So I'm definitely not going to ovulate in the next few days. I tend to ovulate after day 15, maybe somewhere like day 16, 17, 18 at the minute. That is just where my cycle is at right now. It has been quite changeable over the last few months as we've moved into our winter time when I traveled overseas. And yeah, things have been a bit stressful just personally. So I feel like all of these things have, shaped and shifted my cycle a little bit at the minute. So I'm just being really present with what is. I'm 38. Am I 38? Yeah, I'm 38. So I don't feel like I'm in perimenopause yet. I feel like my cycle is more affected by the environment that I'm living in at the minute and my internal stress that I've been doing my best to nourish and to ground myself. I've been really leaning on a lot more energetic practices. As well as journaling and walking and crying when I need to. I find that there's nothing wrong and nothing to be afraid of when it comes to crying. I think it's really important to release those energies and emotions that get really pent up. So, people might say to me, "What's wrong? You're crying." And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just letting it out. And so really doing things like that, as well as coming back to nutrition, especially after being away, when my daily rhythm, routine, and those food groups that I will really focus on consuming every day. When that goes out the window, especially being away for almost a month, I do feel like there's been a real knock-on effect. So I'm coming back to that now, settling in back home. And we've just passed winter solstice here. We've had full moon at the winter solstice in the Southern Hemisphere at the same exact time. And wow, what a potent energy that is in itself. Winter solstice, the energy of death and completion, the end of the last solar cycle. It's like a solar new year, really. And so I feel like I've been sat in that void space for the last couple of months, actually, of wanting to bring certain things through, manifest certain things, um, have my energy, feel a certain way. But the things that we want to control, I feel like that end of the solar year as we get to winter solstice is such a reminder. It seems to show me where I can control and where I can't control. It shows me where to really dig deep into trust, into trusting myself, trusting the timing, trusting that even the things that I really want to call in might not necessarily happen in the way that I expect it to. And just to really allow things to transform for what isn't working, for old ways, for old patterns, for the way that I thought things might be, to just let go of those expectations, and with the solstice to open up instead to renewal. So in the darkness, finding trust, hope, the light within, staying focused on the vision that I've got for myself in the year and my life, really, what it is that matters to me, where I'm putting my energy, and instead just focusing on the what and letting go of the how. And as I was having a shower this morning and just feeling into what I wanted this podcast episode to be about today, I really felt to talk to you about manifesting with the menstrual cycle. So that is the topic of this podcast. I feel like this is a really good time for this, whether you're in the northern hemisphere, you've just had summer solstice, and you're looking at what you want to bring through in the second half of the year, which will be the last half of your solar cycle. Because in the northern hemisphere, the classic, December, January, New Year is aligned with the solar cycle. 21st of December will be your winter solstice. It'll be our summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, then of course, just really tuning into these energies that are here for you, this opportunity we have to manifest with a new cycle. And to also, if you're feeling like you're stuck, you've been in a bit of a void space yourself, you're not able to control things, you're not sure how things are going or where they're going, or, what you can do about it. If you're kind of in this cocoon stage yourself where things are dissolved and you don't know how it's all going to get put back together again yet, then I wanted to share you this to offer you some hope and a process, a bit of a framework, an invitation to work with over the coming months as well. So, manifestation. Manifestation is really about creating the physical reality that matches your visions, your hopes, your intentions, your desires. So, manifesting, I'm sure we've all heard about, is this, process that people talk about heaps and heaps about, manifesting opportunities, manifesting abundance, manifesting a loving partner, manifesting holidays, I don't know, all kinds of things. But I really want to talk about manifesting, not just in that way of like, you know, reaching a goal, but also calling in more of um, the way you want to live, who you are, the higher vision and purpose, and how we can create as well. So, the creation manifestation is creation energy, and how this ties into the menstrual cycle, as well as I was saying, the solar cycle and also the moon cycle. So, cycles in itself, the cycle from birth, growth, full bloom, or full moon, harvest, decay, death, rebirth, the cycle is a manifestation cycle in itself. So we start off with the new cycle where we have emptiness. We have like a blank slate, a clean canvas, and it's like, okay, if all possibilities are on the table, anything is possible. What is it that we might want to call in this year or this month or this day, even this cycle? What is it we are calling in? So we have this opportunity to vision. Then we go through the cycle of growth. We're calling in, we're manifesting, we're creating, we're like taking action. We are doing what we need to manifest, to create. But then when we get to the middle of the cycle, we switch out of doing and we drop into being. Because manifesting is not just about doing, it's about being a match for what we're calling in as well. So the second half of the cycle, from the peak back down to the death or rebirth phase, So what I mean is from the full moon or ovulation or summer back down to the winter time is this phase of being. And it's about allowing and being. And so we can go through a cycle where we're growing, 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 and then we are receiving, receiving, receiving. We get to the end of the cycle and we're back where we started again. So that is actually a growth cycle in itself. If you think of the plants, the trees, the flowers, the animals, nature, if you think about the seasons of the year, it starts off winter in hibernation. Everything doesn't look like anything's happening. There's that real time of stillness and darkness, inward growth, root growth, seeds germinating underneath the earth. This is the blank slate, blank canvas time. It's like, okay, doesn't look like anything's happening, but we have to get super, super clear on what we want. Animals are resting, hibernating, nothing's in growth mode. But then it gets warmer, it gets hot, hot, hot. Things grow, grow, grow. We get to the full bloom, we get to the peak heat at summer, and then everything's in fruit or bloom. And then from there, we have the harvest time where we reap the rewards, and then everything has to die off again because that becomes the compost. That becomes the nutrients again for the next cycle. So I really think it's important to see manifestation as a cycle, not continuous. I think there's a bit of a toxic attitude that manifestation is like we're going from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, bigger, bigger, bigger. And that's really just exploitative and extractive. Is that the word? Like when we're just extracting all the time? That is everything that's wrong with capitalism and patriarchy, in my opinion. When we actually see it as a cycle, we have an opportunity to be so intentional. Yes, it might not be as fast. Yes, we might feel like things are not happening as fast as we might like, or, come on, we've got to get on with it. But actually, it gives us chance to get super clear on what we want and then to be really, really aligned to receive, to sustain ourselves, and then to like check, is this still actually what we want? Or are we in too deep now? Because this is what can happen when we take the linear model. We're in too deep. This isn't what I wanted anymore, but I'm in it. So I've just got to stick at it. I can't back out now. Like, who says? Actually, of course you can. If we take off all that pressure, if we take off all of the like vanity around it, or the ego, then we can actually give ourselves a chance to check in with, is this what I really want? Is this really aligned with my higher self and my highest vision and the people around me? Is this what I really want for myself? What am I learning from this process? What am I learning about myself? How might I do this differently or even better next time? This is the cycle. So, how can we do it with a menstrual cycle? So, if we start off with a period, we are like day one, day two, we have our period. We're deep in the depths of that winter time. It's hibernation time in nature and it's hibernation time within us. Might not look like on the outside much is going on, but magic is happening inside. We are releasing, we are renewing, our cells are replenishing themselves. We are letting go of all that is stagnant and dead and done. And we are cleansing and purifying our inner space. This is a beautiful time to just be in stillness. It's that peak, the pole of the cycle at the sort of lowest ebb. We come to a point of stillness as we step from one cycle into the new cycle. So, what we're doing here is as all this renewal is happening on the inside, as we are gathering our energy, gathering our stores that are going to provide us for the whole rest of the cycle, we aren't actually doing anything. We are super gooey in the cocoon, like in a deep transformational space where we are gathering what we're going to need for the cycle ahead. This is really profound because this is not rushing. This is not going, hey, it's new moon. I've got my period. It's go, go, go time. No, we're going to just relax. We're just going to rest. We're going to open up our inner intuition, our inner sight and knowing. We're just going to tune into, hey, what do I want? What is it that I really want? What is it? Not just that I want, but maybe that I need. And what is it that I desire? What is that deepest desire? So, getting out of ego, getting out of vanity, getting out of keeping up with the Joneses, coming back to what is it that my heart and my spirit deeply desire for me to have, to receive, to learn, to know right now, this cycle ahead. So when we get still, we might meditate, we might draw, we might write, we might dream, we might do any number of inner, quiet, reflective practices to just let a vision or a knowing come to us. This is not about shoulds. This is not about pressure. This is not about external um like expectations. This is like what we on the inside really want. So we need to get still to hear that. Over these few days of our bleeding, it might feel like nothing's happening. And then bang, a vision or a knowing or an insight can come to us. It might not be what you thought it was going to be, but the way to check if this is really for you is to just feel when you tune into this, whatever it is, when you vision it or you think on it, how do you feel in your body? Do you feel like grounded? Do you feel solid? Even if you feel quite low energy about it or high energy about it, you might feel super excited. You might be bouncing off the walls. You might just be like, have that quiet, like sly smile spread over your lips where you're like, yes, 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 my pretty. It's not about what it looks like. It's about what it feels like. Do you have that like knowing, yes, this is true. This is really true. And this is the deeper truth there for me. When you feel like that's what it is, then that can often be, I believe, that is what is your focus for your manifestation cycle. Then I would spend a few days over the rest of your bleed. So, like, usually, like, if my period goes for like 5 days, I sort of get these like knowings by like day 4. Like, that's pretty specific. You might, get this knowing straight away, or it might take a while to come through. No pressure. Don't stress. Let it come. It's about receiving. It's like, putting your hands out as a child with your eyes closed or having a blindfold, and you're waiting to be like for something to be put in your hands. This is not about racing other people to the finish line and grabbing it and taking it. This is the art of receiving. So, receiving what is meant for you this cycle. Then, over the next few days, as your period ends and your energy starts to come back, we're not going to race out the gate. This is the time for really attuning with like exactly what. So, what is this vision? Like, let's flesh that out. Let's really elaborate on it. Let's get really intimate with the textures and the colors and the shape and the um like what this really looks like and feels like and means for you. What would it be like to have this? How would it change you? How would it support you? How would it support those people around you? How would it contribute to the world in a bigger way, perhaps? Like, what is the intricacies of what this looks like, what it feels like, what it means? Like, what exactly does this manifestation mean to you? What does it allow for you to then have or receive or whatever? So get super clear on all of that. Then, as you get really into the throes of your spring and even into your summer, this is the time for action. And I believe at this time, this is when we have got the vision of the what, and now we're tuning into the how. So the how is like, okay, how could this be possible? How could I get there? What are the different options on the table? How might I play and get really curious and allow for the universe to surprise and delight me? How can I be open to what this looks like instead of trying to control it? How could I call in the support of other people as well to help this come to life? And as we're doing that, it's also about really cultivating and aligning your energy on the inside with what it is you're wanting to manifest. So, as you feel into the energy of what it is you're wanting to manifest or create, what does that bring up in you? How does your energy expand or soften or um, speed up or slow down or bubble or tingle or feel all oozy and delicious? What's the energy of this? Hey, lovely. While we're here, do you know what your secret cycle superpower is? If not, I'd really love to share with you my quiz, which will help you to discover exactly that. You will learn which part of your cycle you thrive in, where your strengths and gifts lie, as well as what your vulnerabilities actually are, the shadows that you cannot see, and how to really nurture them and nourish them so that you are reclaiming your power, you have confidence and strength, and you feel your best all cycle long. You're going to learn tools, techniques, and practices to balance your energy, get grounded, and love your cycle so you can be your best in life, in love, and in your business. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, come and take the quiz because it will work with the moon cycle and show you which phase of the creative and business cycle you struggle with most and where your natural gifts lie. Discover your primary archetype now. Are you the muse, the connector, the challenger, or the mystic? I'd love to know. When you really tune into that, you need to then be able to really focus on that feeling in your body, focusing on the feeling of what it is that you are wanting to call in, because your body, your energy has to be a match for the resonance, the frequency of what you are manifesting. If you're not, it's not going to happen. This is really true. This is like physics, this is science. This is like tuning a radio um, the receiver into catching the frequency of the radio show. So you know how you have to fine tune it? You have to be a total match for it. Otherwise, it's going to crackle or you're just going to miss it altogether and you might get another radio show that you actually really hate. So we have to really concentrate on cultivating those feelings in our body when we think about this thing we're trying to manifest, and also even when we're not thinking about it. So the more we can grow and amplify those feelings in our body that remind us of this thing we're manifesting, the more we are going to be able to attract it towards us. This isn't even woo-woo bullshit. This is like actual science. And I just love that because my brain just loves that mix of woo-woo and the energetic, as well as like having that science in there as well. Like, how cool is that? Like, this is real. So if you're feeling like, oh, it's never going to happen for me, oh, it's too hard, oh, how other people have what I want and I can't get it, um, your energy is going to like change. So your shoulders might round, you might get like a dull or heavy feeling within you. You lose your sparkle. You're amplifying the opposite energy, the energy of can't have, which is actually really repellent to what you have. So when we instead cultivate the feelings of here, here, now, now, all things are possible, we call on this energy. We call on the energy of like how wonderful it would be to have this thing that I want to create, and like just feeling the ways it's going to really support me, support my family, support my clients, support my community, like contribute to the world at large, just for example. Like I feel open, my shoulders roll back, my tummy, like my chest sticks out a bit. I sit taller. I feel lighter. I feel a smile spread over my lips. I feel a sparkling, like a yellow kind of sunshine radiance move through my whole body. And I want to take a deep, beautiful, like slow sigh and just ooze and enjoy that feeling of like yumminess. Like that is the energy of abundance. So we can really call that in, amplify that, because where we place our energy is what grows. So what's that phrase? Um, uh, where intention goes, energy flows. So, what you focus on is what you're going to attract towards you. So, this spring, summertime is really about holding the energy to be magnetic. It's also about taking aligned action. It's not hustle. I don't mean that at all. I mean aligned action, intentional action, and not doing it all yourself. Where can you call in others to support you, whether they're directly contributing, helping you out with whatever it is you're doing, instead of, no, got to do this by myself, got to battle on and be a martyr? Where can they help you? Or where can they support you in other ways, in other aspects of your life? Like leaning on partners or friends, or like carving in some extra time for yourself, or playing delightful music, or going to like dance or yoga or meditation or whatever, to help you to maintain your energy and your um like sustained magnetism for whatever it is you're manifesting to. It might be drawing on other people's input for what you're doing. Like, hey, I've got this idea, but is it shit? Is it good? Like, um, what's your take on it? Like, can you see something I can't see? And from here, we take intentional action steps um, in honoring our body. We're not going to burn ourselves out. We're not going to extract from ourselves either. We are going to, yeah, explore and lean in and sit down and do the work, whatever it is, to manifest. When we get to the peak of the cycle, the full moon, the ovulation, the summer, this is a time of like really freaking celebrating and giving great thanks to yourself, to all the support, to the universe, or whatever you want to give thanks to. Thank you. Let's celebrate wherever we're at right now, even if it doesn't feel like much, even if you're here going, oh my gosh, we're halfway through and I like haven't even, done XYZ. Doesn't matter. Focus on what you have done. Focus on what you have experienced or learned or felt or whatever it is, the teeny tiny even. Let's celebrate so far. Take our foot off the pedal and just bask in the glory and the momentum, riding the wave. Keep tuning into that energy, that vision that you have inside of what it is you're manifesting. And now it's time to really be the match for what it is you're manifesting. Here I sort of have this vision of like us throwing open our arms to the universe, and it's like, okay, thank you. Now it's time for me to receive. So for things to come to me. So in this magnetic phase, we can really step into a place of receivership. And I think this is what is so hard for a lot of people, is to step out of like hustle, productivity, action, 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 and to just really receive. So receiving um the fruits really of this cycle so far. And this might be feedback. It might be you putting it out there into a beta group or to a loved and trusted one, or it might be, launching something and getting their feedback, getting their support, getting their eyes and ears, getting them to help share it with people as well, getting them to really hold this frequency with you, getting you to harvest lessons learned or reflect on what is coming up for you and what you've learned in this cycle so far. And taking any smaller but like measured steps you need to complete this cycle of manifestation. So this might be you receiving, it might be you going, okay, not quite there yet this cycle. This is going to need another cycle ahead. Where am I at? Am I still really aligned? Is this really what I wanted? If it doesn't look like what you thought it would be, tuning into, okay, I haven't failed here. It just isn't happening on my timeline. Instead, am I sure this is what I want? Is my energy being a real match for it? Is it coming and it just needs a bit more work or a bit more time to find me? When we think manifestations like click your fingers and you're going to win the lottery, like that is actually just not true. It's kind of bullshit. Manifesting is really about attracting what is meant for you in the highest possible way, but you can't control the timeline because this is energy. So, with this autumn time, this waning moon, this premenstrual time, this sort of like reclining, um, degenerative energy almost. It's like the peak of that energy, that momentous wave is now um crumbling, and it's like it's waning again, and it's like coming back to stillness. Instead of freaking out here, how can you dig really deep to stay aligned with your vision, to really be sure this is what you want, to celebrate all that you've achieved this cycle so far, looking at this as like groundwork and saying, okay, this is my new starting point in the new cycle. Where am I going from here? And when we get back to that void space, so the last few days before your menstrual cycle, really letting yourself surrender. Surrender again, letting go of what you think you know, letting go of control, letting go of what you think is meant for you, and opening once again to receiving the vision that will come in the new cycle. Okay, where am I at now? Let's once again open up and receive to the vision that is there. What is it that I think I know? Can I see things differently? What is coming through this time? Is it the same thing, or is it actually something different? I believe that manifesting is not linear, it is cyclical. So it might feel like we have a cycle on something and then it kind of takes a back seat for a bit, and we have to wait and just let that come to us, or come to its next uh, right growth cycle phase. When we keep attuned to the energy of what it is, and work on being a match, really holding the vision for what we are calling in, that is going to support us so well, because we are in a state of union between our inner masculine and feminine. We're not just there like hustle, 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 like fighting for what we want. And we're not just also in that state of receivership, or like, attraction where, people talk about, I ask, therefore I receive. Like, yes, but we actually have to do something about it as well. We have to give the universe a helping hand, put ourselves in the right situation, take steps, do something, like literally create, turning your vision into reality. But it's not about always being in that energy either. It's about both. It's about holding the vision, being open to receiving, and trusting the how will emerge for you. Like when you're taking stepping stones on a path, and it's like you're on the riverbank and you can't see your way across, and then all of a sudden you notice, hey, there's a log, I can stand on that. So you take the step and you step on that log, and you're like, but I can't see the way forwards. And then all of a sudden you see a boulder that's like actually like hiding behind the end of the log. And you're like, oh, it was there all along. There's the next step. Like, and then, a little turtle swims up and offers you their back, when there was nothing there before, and you can step on that. And before you know it, you've made yourself your way across the river, and you're up on that bank on the other side, and you're like, I did it. You can't see the way forwards. You have to trust that the next step will appear for you at the right time. So I really believe it's about, holding both this of these energies, the masculine and the feminine within ourselves. It's about really being who you uh who you need to be to receive and attract this vision that is meant for you, or this manifestation. Because if you cannot hold that, it won't come to you. Say you're calling in something like huge and expansive. If you don't actually have the grounded, um or like the safety in the energy in your body, if you're not safe, if actually receiving whatever it is you're calling in, it does not feel safe for you, if you don't have the capacity, the time, the space, or like if it's going to make you feel unstable in any way to actually receive it, if it's like, oh, that would actually blow up my life, or like I really, I'm really ambitious and I really want to earn this money or have this much clients, or you have whatever it is, like win this competition. Um, but if that actually scares the shit out of you, you're not actually going to receive it. So, really tuning into nurturing and honoring your energy, your nervous system, your capacity, making sure that you are ready to receive what you're calling in. Because otherwise, the universe is probably going to give you something that is not what you thought. It might not be as big or as glorious as you thought it would be as well. And you can get really disheartened and disappointed. I do think that there's such a trauma informed element that we should be taking into consideration around manifesting too. I think that we can become real victims to this process when we think that, um, we can just have whatever we want or like bypass, our rights and privileges, the privileges of others, where we feel like we are just um, we're just being like basic white people, like, trying to extract um and have what we think we should have because we're entitled to having it as well. I think that actually like taking a cyclical approach gives us a real opportunity to do that deeper inner work of what is mine to have, and what do I want for my highest good, um, versus what does my ego want? What do I want versus what do I need? And I think that we can manifest with grace, and care for ourselves and care for others. And that's why I believe in really manifesting in this cyclical approach, because it gives us this opportunity to keep checking our alignment, keep checking our truth, keep checking our readiness, to do, receive, have, action, whatever, this thing that we are manifesting. And I also believe that, it makes sure that we are sustainable, true, and doing this from a place of right use of power rather than like trying to take power and control. And I think our menstrual cycle is such a good uh manifesting tool to work with. As I say, it takes us through each one of these phases of the manifestation cycle. And we live it in our body, we feel it. It can show us where we are really struggling to be in alignment. It can show us where we're not quite ready yet, where all these doubts come up, where imposter comes up, where we don't believe that we are worthy or enough to have or receive it. And that is where the invitation for this inner work really, really lives. This is the invitation for us to dig deep, to receive support, to hear our fears, to expand our capacity to hold what it is that we want. Because if we just bypass all of this and we just steamroll on anyway, we're actually not going to get what we want. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that this gives you a sense of how you can manifest with your menstrual cycle. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, you can instead manifest with the moon cycle. And I'm sure if you are, a bit of a moon witch like me, then you'll have heard of this. But the moon cycle, in case you haven't heard about this, is again a manifestation cycle in itself. If you look at the growth of the moon from the blackness, the darkness of the new moon to the fullness, the bright illumination of the full moon, and then the disintegration again through the waning moon and back to the new moon. So if a moon cycle is the same duration as the average menstrual cycle, a month, then we have this opportunity to really vision in, especially if we don't have a menstrual cycle for any reason whatsoever, then we can receive the vision at the new moon, and we can manifest action, work on our energy, co-create through the growth of the moon up to full moon. At full moon, we can celebrate, we can give great thanks. Gratitude is such a powerful manifesting energy because it's acknowledging our truth. I saw something on Instagram the other day that I really liked about this, and it said, gratitude is adding an and. I can't remember who to quote for this, Um, but I kind of scrolled and it did stay with me, and I didn't expect to be talking about it now. So I haven't gone and looked it up. I probably wouldn't find it even if I tried, to be fair, but it said it's adding an and. So I'm tired and I'm thankful for all that I have. Like I feel stuck and I give great thanks to myself for showing up anyway. I um I'm worried and I have hope that things will get better. I just really like that. I'm like, yeah, that's a really simple way of having gratitude without bypassing our feelings and our truth as well. It's acknowledging our truth, but then it's also, and we can hold both. We can hold the darkness, the heaviness, the pain, the sadness, the fear, and we can hold the light. We can hold the hope, the renewal, the possibilities, the support that's always available to us, even in ways where we feel like we are deeply alone or unsupported. So, the moon can show us how to do this as well without a direct menstrual cycle in our body. You might be manifesting more longer term across the year with the seasons starting in the winter, peaking in the summer, and coming back round again. You might be doing it with the day, whatever. You can pick any cycle. It's not necessarily about following a particular cycle, it's just following the cycle. So, trusting that we have to have this upward swing and then this downward swing, that there is the creation and then there is the letting go, there is the doing and the being, the giving and the receiving. And that is super important to honor, um, however you are manifesting. But don't underestimate the power of your intention. When you start something off, whether it's a project cycle, because that's another one, like if you're working on a project in life, business, work, wherever, that is a cycle unto itself. So you might not start that with a bleed or a new moon, for example, but whenever you do start that or start a cycle, how you start is how you mean to go on. You know, all these sayings exist for a reason. We put our best foot forward, because, you know, when we start as we mean to go on, it's about cultivating the energy. It's about being focused, aligned, and intentional. It's about setting that focus for where we're going to put our energy. Your intentions are incredibly powerful. Intentions are not goals. Goals are, I want to achieve this by then, and it needs to look exactly like this. And like, you know, it's a tick or fail. Lots of people manifest like that with a goal where it's like super, super, super specific. But there's this whole energy of like pass or fail. I really love working with intentions because it's similar, but instead of being like so specific about what something looks like, um, which can actually like block us from receiving what is even better for us. When we set intentions, we're really cultivating the outcome. So the bigger outcome, not just like I'm manifesting a red Hyundai with this registration plate and leather seats, and it's got to have a sunroof, and it's got to have like, you know, bum warmers, like in the, you know, those seat warmers, um and it's got a like whatever. If it's like I'm actually intending to call in the most beautiful family car that's going to serve me and my family so that we are like super comfortable and we can take a road trip together, and we've got space and we've got comfort, and like it's clean and it's fresh, and this just means that we can get around with so much more ease and really enjoy our family time together, without the stress of like worrying about it breaking down or being too cramped, or you know what I mean? Like we're focusing on the bigger picture, like the feeling of how this is going to support us. This is what I did last year actually with a car, just side note. I think that's why the example came to me right now. So it's not about being fixated on it needing to look exactly like this, otherwise we didn't get it, but it's focusing on the feeling, the desire, the like how this is really going to support you, like that deeper, bigger reason and purpose. That is the intention. And then the intention helps you to feel. And then that feeling helps you to stay aligned. And that alignment helps you attract. And that attraction helps you receive and manifest. So it's the feeling. You really want to be focusing on the feeling. And a vision needs to be tied to the feeling, but the vision does want to be specific, but not to the point of like black and white. It needs to be exactly like this. I feel like that's pretty entitled. Lots of people do that, of course. I think the more focused, the more specific we can be, great. But I also think we need to be open to being surprised and delighted by actually receiving not necessarily what we think is best for us, but because the universe knows that it's got our back, that kind of thing. Like we'll get what we need at the time. So that is my guide, today's riff on manifesting with the menstrual cycle or the moon cycle, and doing it from a really like intentional cyclical approach, being really embodied, being like having agency and sovereignty over it, but also not entitlement, and like extractive, like just being actually patriarchal about manifesting. This is how I think we can do it. And I hope this helps. I'd love to hear from you. You can drop a comment to me, DM me on Instagram at charlotte.pronto.coach. You can even leave a rating review on Spotify if you're listening. You can also leave a comment. You can even text in as well. Just I'd love to hear like what your thoughts are on manifesting. Is if you manifest with your menstrual cycle or the moon cycle. Oh, just a note, if you have a menstrual cycle, that should be a dominant one. The moon is like a secondary one. Reason is your menstrual cycle is like in your physical body and it directs your energy. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like if you have a problem with manifesting in general, if you take this approach, your top tips, yeah, just drop us a line. I'd love to hear from you. And happy manifesting and magnetizing, my loves. Until next time, ciao. Thanks so much for listening to Wild Flow. I love having you here and hope you loved this episode. If you did, please show your love by leaving a rating and review and share your fave episodes with your cycle and biz sisters and those who haven't yet discovered the power of their body and cycle. This is how we collectively create change and heal the sisterhood. It makes such a difference. Thank you for sharing. Haven't discovered your cyclical leadership style yet? Take my free Much Love quiz now to receive your free in-depth playbook on how to up your sacred leadership, grow your business, and thrive by embodying your cyclical archetype. Go to charlottepointo.com/quiz now. Until next time, be devoted to your body as guide and your cycle as oracle.